Welcome everyone. In this presentation, I will discuss the philosophical perspective mostly aligned with which is humanism. I will compare humanism with monism and agnosticism, examine arguments for and against the existence of God, evaluate the problem of evil, and discuss how philosophical perspective shape ethic meaning and human existence. Overview of humanism and comparison with other perspectives. The perspective most closely aligned with is humanism. Humanism focuses on human dignity, rational equality, scientific understanding, and ethical responsibility. Humanists generally believe that people can create meaning and moral value through reason and share human experience rather than relying on supernatural explanation. In contrast, monoism centers on belief in a single all-powerful God who creates and governs the universe. Agnosticism takes a different position by arguing that there is insufficient evidence to know whether God exists. Despite their difference, these perspectives all attempt to answer fundamental questions about purpose, morality, and the nature of reality. Similarity and difference between humanism, nemoism, and agnoism. Humanism, nemoism, and agnoism share a concern for understanding existence and guiding ethical behavior. However, they differ significantly in how they arrive in their conclusion. Humanists prioritize empirical evidence and rational thoughts. Nemoism often rely on sacred texts, religious tradition, and faith in God. Agnostic neither confirm nor deny God existence because they believe the evidence is insufficient or inaccessible. This difference influence how individuals interpret morality, purpose, and life ultimate meaning. Philosophical arguments supporting the existence of God. Several philosophical arguments support belief in God. The cosmological argument states that everything that begins to exist has a cause. Since the universe began to exist, it must have a cause beyond itself. Many philosophers identify this cause as God. The telegraphical argument focuses on the apparent design and order in nature. Supporters argue that the universe complexity suggests an intelligent designer. These arguments are influential because they provide logical explanation for existence and order. However, critics point out that they do not necessarily establish the existence of the God described by any particular region. Additionally, scientific theory often alternate explanation for many phenomena once attributes to divine action. Philosophical arguments challenging the existence of God, the problem of evil. One of the strongest arguments against God's existence is the problem of evil. Philosophers question how a God who is all powerful, all knowing, and perfectly good could allow suffering to exist. Examples include natural disaster, disease, poverty, and human cruelty. Critics argue that unnecessarily suffering seems incompatibility with a benevolent deity. The problem of evil remains one of the most debated issues in philosophy, of religion because it directly challenged traditional concepts of God. Evaluating the strength and weakness of the evil, evaluating the strength and weakness of, of the problem of evil. The strength of the problem of evil is in connection to real human suffering. It asks different questions that believers and non believers must confront. One common response is the free will defense. This argue that God value human freedom even though people may misuse that freedom and create suffering. Another response is the soul making theology. This suggests that challenges and hardship help individuals develop virtues such as courage, compassion, and resilience. While this response provide meaningful explanation for some believers, critics argue they, they do not fully understand all form of suffering, particularly natural disaster and the suffering of innocent people. Philosophy, religion, and human experience. Philosophy play a significant role in shaping people worldwide. It influences how individuals understand right and wrong, interpret life meaning, and respond to social issues. A contemporary example is the work of humanist organizations that promote human rights, scientific education, and ethical decision making based on evidence and human welfare. Humanism often align with religious values such as comparison, kindness, justice, and compassion. However, this can conflict with religious perspective with moral authority in view and coming exclusively from divine revelation rather than human reason. This demonstrates how philosophical perspective continue to influence modern society and individual behavior. Thank you for listening. This presentation explore humanism as a philosophical perspective, compare it with Monothism and Agnosticism, examine arguments for the for the for and against God existence, evaluate the problem of evil, and discuss the impact of philosophy on religious ethic and human existence. Thank you.